Hello all. In this video, we will be discussing about the similarity and dissimilarity measures in data mining. So like we have discussed in our classes, we need to know first about the dissimilarity and the similarity definition, right? Similarity is when we say two objects or two data points or any two elements, if they are equal or if they are same, we call them as similar. And similarity measure is a numerical measure of how similar or how alike are the two objects. And dissimilarity is how different are the two objects. So here these concepts will be mostly used in clustering, wherein we group all the similar objects together in one cluster. The dissimilar objects will be in some other cluster. Next, as well as in classification, where we can label them based on the similar features, right? And anomaly detection is to detect a particular object which may be an outlier. So that means it is very much dissimilar compared to the other data objects. So if it is dissimilar, it is not like any of the objects available, it is said to be an anomaly or an outlier. So this measure will be applicable in anomaly detection also. So coming to the first one we have is similarity. So similarity is a numerical measure which checks how alike are the two data objects. If this measure, that is a numerical value, if it is higher, then the objects are said to be more alike. Usually this similarity measure is between the values of 0 to 1 inclusive. Minimum will be 0 and maximum is 1. And in between we have, based on the similarities and the features which are alike, we can say that the similarity measure is a particular number between 0 to 1. Next, we have the dissimilarity measure. So this is as well a numerical measure which checks how different are the two data objects in picture. So if the dissimilarity measure, the number is lower, we say that the objects are more alike. It is similar. So the dissimilarity is lower. Now the minimum value is 0, but upper limit varies. Unlike the similarity measure wherein the upper limit is 1, in dissimilarity, upper limit may be any number. We have the word proximity, which is used for this term. So proximity measure will be calculated and we can find out the similarity or the dissimilarity measure. Let us now first see the different formulae we are going to use to calculate the similarity and dissimilarity. When we say dissimilarity, we can say if two objects are dissimilar, we can say they are more distant. When we assume a graph where we plot the points in the graph, if the points are far away, then we say they are dissimilar. So the distance is measured. So if the distance is more, we can say that the objects are dissimilar. So to calculate this, we have certain formulae here. First part is about finding the similarity and dissimilarity measure for objects with one attribute, right? So that is a single attribute we have, which is P and Q are taken as the attributes for two objects. P is the attribute of first object, Q is the attribute of second object. Based on the conditions as shown for the different types of attributes, we can calculate the dissimilarity measure denoted by D, as well as the similarity measure which is represented by S. So first of all, we have the four types of attributes, wherein the first one is the nominal attribute. In the nominal attribute, so if the value of D is to be calculated, so if we assume that the two attributes are the same, that is P is equal to Q, then D value will be 0. It means they are not dissimilar, they are same. because P equal to Q, D value will be equal to 0. In case P is not at all equal to Q, that means they are totally dissimilar. They are unequal. So D gets the highest value, that is 1. If we consider likewise similarity, similarity is the opposite of dissimilarity. So S calculation, the values are also the opposite. If P equal to Q, that means they are the same. So similarity measure will be 1. So it is higher value because P is equal to Q. If in case P is not equal to Q, so there is nothing similar. They are both unlike each other. So the similarity measure S will be equal to 0. This is for nominal attribute. Next we have ordinal attribute, wherein we can calculate the value of D, dissimilarity measure, by using the formula mod of P minus Q divided by N minus 1. Here we have integers 0 to n minus 1, where n is the total number of values, and these values will be mapped to the integers 0 to n minus 1. So just like we can consider similar to the index of arrays. So if an array has n elements, the index will be from 0 to n minus 1. Here we have n values, so which are mapped to the values 0 to n minus 1. And we can calculate D by using the formula mod P minus Q divided by n minus 1. And for the ordinal values, we have ordered values. So S is calculated by 1 minus D, which is nothing but S is equal to 1 minus mod P minus Q divided by n minus 1. Next type of attributes we have are the interval or the ratio attributes. Here, for these type of attributes, wherein we'll have a range of numbers in the data set, so we will calculate the dissimilarity measure D as D is equal to mod of P minus Q. And the similarity measure varies depending on the application. So it may be minus D, right? So S is equal to minus D, or S is calculated as 1 by 1 plus D, or S will be calculated with another alternative formula, which is 1 minus D minus min of D divided by max of D minus min of D. Since these are range of values, we will have a range which says like minimum this value and maximum a particular value. The range, if it is for example 1 to 10, minimum is 1, maximum will be 10 in that example. So we can substitute for min of D and max of D in the formula to calculate the value of S. This is in case of a simple attribute or a single attribute. Next, let us see in case of multiple attributes. So we have multiple numeric attributes, how to calculate the dissimilarity. So as I just told you, if the two objects are dissimilar, so if we plot them on a graph, they will be very far away. The distance will be more between the points which are dissimilar. So we calculate the Euclidean distance. Very important to note. Euclidean distance is based on the Pythagoras theorem, wherein we write the root of this difference, square of the difference. So here we take P and Q, wherein we have, for example, n number of dimensions. So the distance can be calculated as square root of summation of k equal to 1 to n pk minus qk whole square. So wherein n is the number of dimensions we have in the application, p, k and qk are the kth attributes of these objects. So p and q. So we substitute for these values and calculate the distance. We will see with example next. So here, if the values are in different scales, for example, it may be centimeters and millimeters, etc. So it can be standardized, convert all the values into a single unit. So every data is then represented in form of centimeters, for example. So we can convert the millimeters to centimeters and display the value. So this standardization, if it is necessary, so in this case, if scales are different, then we can standardize and convert the value into a single format. Let us see an application. So for the Euclidean distance, Here we assume that there are 4 points. Note the x and y axis. So point P1 can be considered as 0, 2. X value is 0, y is 2. Similarly, P2 is 2, 0. P3 will be 3, 1. P4 is 5, 1. So those are the x and y coordinates of these 4 points. If we depict them, so this is how we can note the x and y coordinates of the 4 points. P1 is 0, 2, P2 is 2, 0, P3 is 3, 1, and P4 is 5, 1. X and y coordinates. Now, next we have to calculate the distance matrix. It can be calculated using the Euclidean distance formula. So that means we are going to find the difference. So x1 minus y1, x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square, right? We add these terms and take the square root. X1 minus x2, that is 0 minus 2 will give us 2 square, right? So that is 4 plus y1 minus y2 whole square, which is again 2 square, which is 4. So 4 plus 4 we get 8. So the distance will be square root of 8, right? Which is 2.828. That is the distance from P1 to P2, which we can see in the table. As well as the distance from P2 to P1 will be the same. So P2 to P1 is also 2.828. Another thing we need to observe, the distance from the point to itself, right? So P1 to P1, there is the single point. So the distance cannot be measured. It is the same point. So it is 0. Similarly, P2 to P2 is 0. P3 to P3 will be 0. P4 to P4 is 0. The diagonal elements are the distance of each point to itself. So that is 0. And next, we can calculate similarly, just like how we calculated P1 to P2, we can calculate P1 to P3 and so on. So we can calculate using the Euclidean distance formula, which is the formula here, right? So substitute for the values of each point and calculate. So we get the distance matrix. So from one point to every other point, we can calculate and then form the table, which is the distance matrix. This is the basics of Euclidean distance. Next, we have Minkowski distance. This can be called as a generalized form of Euclidean distance. Now, when we say square root, it is nothing but something to the power of 1 by 2, right? So if we say square root of x, it can also be written as x to the power of 1 by 2. As well as we are taking the square also, x square. So in that case, it is generalized and written. So instead of 1 by 2, we write it as power of 1 by r. This is a generalized value for the number of parameters. In Euclidean distance, r value is equal to 2. When we substitute for r as 2, this formula is nothing but the Euclidean distance. So in general, instead of having 1 or 2 parameters, if we have r parameters, then the distance can be found by using the formula summation of k equal to 1 to n mod pk minus qk power r and the whole power 1 by r, where r will be the number of parameters, n is the number of dimensions. Do not get confused between r and n. Okay, pk and qk are the objects, the kth attribute of each of the object p and q. We will be applying this as well. So first of all, we need to know this is a generalized form. If r is equal to 1, it is called as the Manhattan distance. And r equal to 2 will be called as the Euclidean distance in the same formula. And if r is equal to infinity, it is called as the supremum distance. We will see each one here. So say r equal to 1, then it is like a city block distance wherein we have just a single parameter. So example is the Hamming distance. So wherein r is equal to 1, we can call that also as the Manhattan distance. Second is r is equal to 2. We have seen example as well. So r is equal to 2 is the Euclidean distance. and so on it can continue. If r is infinity, then we call it as a supremum distance, wherein we can substitute. So based on the infinite value, we take the limits here. So L max of normalized value, L infinity, we have to take the distance between them. So the maximum distance, the difference between the values attributes, can be calculated as d of x comma y. This is the dissimilarity measure. D is calculated as limit of r to infinity. This part is the same as Minkowski distance. That is summation of k is equal to 1 to n xk minus yk power r whole power 1 by r. Right? So wherein r is the number of parameters, n is the number of dimensions. X and y are the coordinate values where we can substitute and find out the distance. So this is the Minkowski distance. So if we say r is equal to 1, so we get the table like this. This is nothing but the application of Manhattan distance. So wherein r is equal to 1, so power becomes 1 and 1 by r becomes 1 by 1. So we can simplify. Let us say we want to calculate distance from P1 to P2 using Manhattan distance. So that is nothing but P1 is 0, 2, which is taken as x1, y1. The coordinates of point P2 are 2, 0, which is x2 and y2. Substituting in the formula, because r is equal to 1, we don't have, so the power is 1 and the whole thing to the power 1 by 1. So it is simplified. So the simplified formula now becomes mod of x1 minus x2 plus mod of y1 minus y2. So substituting for these values, we get mod of 0 minus 2 plus mod of 2 minus 0, which is 2 plus 2, 4. The distance from P1 to P2 is 4, right, which we can verify here. So distance from P1 to P2 is 4. Similarly, the distance from P2 to P1 back is 4 itself, right? So these are the same 2 points. Whether we calculate distance from P1 to P2 or P2 to P1, the distance remains the same. So this table shows the distance matrix calculated using the Manhattan distance formula. The second table is the same, which we just saw, which is for the Euclidean distance formula. So this distance matrix is calculated using Euclidean distance, that is r is equal to 2. So this is the same as the previous table we have seen. So we can compare the Manhattan distance with the Euclidean distance and check the tables. That is the distance matrices. So similarly, just like we calculated P1 to P2, we can calculate for P1 to P3 and P1 to P4. Assume P1 to P4, for example, which will be mod of 0 minus 5 plus mod of 2 minus 1. 0 minus 5 is minus 5, which becomes 5, okay, absolute, plus 2 minus 1 is 1. 5 plus 1, we get 6. So distance from P1 to P4 is 6. Similarly, distance from P4 to P1 will also be 6. So this way we can calculate the entire distance matrix. The distance from each point to every other point is calculated and represented in the form of a distance matrix. So this distance matrix is calculated with the help of Manhattan distance formula. The second distance matrix is calculated with the help of Euclidean distance formula. Moving further, what are the properties of this distance? So when we say distance, if we assume the Euclidean distance, for example, it has the following properties. Distances have the following 3 properties, which is the distance between P and Q will always be a positive value or equal to 0. Distance can never be negative value. So d of P comma Q will be greater than or equal to 0 for all P and Q. And distance is equal to 0 only if P is equal to Q. This property is called as positive definiteness. The distance will always be greater than 0 or equal to 0. Distance value can never be negative. The second property, so distance from P to Q is same as distance from Q to P for all P and Q. This is called as symmetry. So just like we saw, distance from P1 to P2 is same as distance from P2 to P1. Since they are the same point, whether we measure from P1 to P2 or from P2 to P1, the points are the same, the distance remains the same. This property is called as symmetry. Next, for triangle inequality, say we consider 3 points. So the distance like points PQR. So distance from P to R will always be less than or equal to distance from P to Q plus distance from Q to R. If we consider P1, P2, P3, so distance from P to P1 to P3 will always be less than or equal to distance from P1 to P2 plus distance from P2 to P3. This property is called as triangle inequality. So wherein we have D of P comma Q is nothing but the distance or the dissimilarity between the points P and Q. These P and Q are nothing but the data points on the graph, which we just saw. P1, P2, P3, P4, all these are the data points. So we can calculate the distance or the dissimilarity, which is represented by D. So all the distance which satisfies all these three properties is called as a metric. So it can be used as a measure for dissimilarity. Next, let us see the common properties of similarity measure. Similarity measure, as we just saw, it can be represented with the letter S. What are the properties? So S of P comma Q is equal to 1. That is, there is maximum similarity only if P is equal to Q. So if the same points are considered, then the similarity measure is 1 because all their properties will be matching. The second one is similar. So wherein we have the symmetry property, just like we have for dissimilarity measure. Even in the similarity measure, we have the symmetry property. That is, S of P comma Q will be equal to S of Q comma P for all P and Q. So here S of P comma Q is the similarity between the points P and Q. So these are the two properties of similarity. That is, maximum similarity means S is equal to 1, and we have symmetry. So S of P comma Q will be equal to S of Q comma P. Now how do we calculate this? The similarity can be calculated between the vectors also. Say we have binary vectors. So the concept we have here is, how do we calculate the similarity between binary vectors? Binary in the sense there are only zeros and ones. We can calculate the similarity by using the similarity coefficient. So in this case, we calculate something called as SMC, which is simple matching coefficient, as well as J, that is Jaccard coefficient. There is a set of formula for this, wherein we need to first know some points, which is, there are 2 points P and Q, two objects which have only binary attributes, zeros and ones. So first thing is, we will compute the similarities. So how many? So M01 is the similarity which calculates count the number of attributes where P is equal to 0 and Q is equal to 1. So every attribute we count, and if it is 0, 1, then increment M01. Similarly, M10 will be the number of attributes with P equal to 1 and Q equal to 0. M00 is the number of attributes where P is 0 and Q is 0. M11 will be the number of attributes with P equal to 1 and Q equal to 1. We will solve this, and in the next slide we have the formula. Right? So here, how do we calculate the simple matching coefficient? That is SMC. So SMC can be calculated using the formula number of matches divided by number of attributes. We say that the values are matching if both are 1 or if both are 0. So that is nothing but M11 plus M00. These are the number of matches divided by the number of attributes. The total number will be given by M01, the addition of all, M01 plus M10 plus M11 plus M00. This formula gives us the simple matching coefficients. Next, we have to calculate the Jacquard coefficient. So that is number of 1-1 matches. In the sense P is 1 and Q is 1. We will see that count, and that is the numerator, divided by number of not both 0 attributes. So all the other three except for M00. That is M01 plus M10 plus M11. So this is the formula to calculate J. J is the Jacquard coefficient. Let us calculate. If we take an example for SMC versus Jacquard, assume that P has the value 1 followed by 9 zeros, as well as Q has this value 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. So here first thing is we have to calculate M. So that is we calculate M01. So the number of attributes where P is equal to 0 and Q is equal to 1. So if we see this, here P is 0 but Q is not 1. So moving further, we see that in this particular place P is 0, Q is 1. So count is 1. Similarly, in the last bit, P is 0, Q is 1. So M01, the count is 2 because P is 0, Q is 1 in only these two bits. Next, M10. So P is 1 and Q is 0 in the leftmost bit. So that is a count. Nowhere else do we have P is 1 and Q is 0. So M10 will be 1. Next, we count the number of attributes where P is 0 as well as Q is 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So 7 attributes are present where P is 0 as well as Q is 0. Hence M00 equal to 7. Next we need to count for M11. P should be 1 and Q should be 1. So we don't have any attributes where both P and Q are 1. Right, both the bits, corresponding bits of P and Q should be 1. So we don't have any such attribute. So M11 will be 0. Now substituting these values in the formula for SMC and J. So SMC M11 plus M00. M11 is 0 plus M00 is 7. So 0 plus 7 is the numerator, divided by all the values, divided by 2 plus 1 plus 7 plus 0. So SMC, simple matching coefficient, we get as 0.7. Now when we calculate J, Jacquard coefficient, the formula says M11. M11 is 0 divided by M01, that is 2 plus M10 is 1 plus M11 is 0. So 0 by anything, we get J value as 0. So this is just one example where we can calculate the value of simple matching coefficient SMC and Jacquard coefficient J. Now when we see this, we see that we can observe SMC will actually count both presence and absence of the values equally. So it is used wherever we have symmetric values, somewhat similar. Now in case we want to find out example, which of the students answered similarly for true and false question. So whoever answered true, right, all those students answers are similar, or if everyone answered false, then still they are all similar. So here we can go for SMC. Jacquard coefficient JC is better used to handle the objects with asymmetric binary attributes. For example, in some transaction, if we want to know which object is purchased and which is not purchased. Now, basically, when we say purchase, we may purchase some 2 or 3 or even say 10 maximum. But there may be thousands of products which we have not purchased, say a supermarket. So we purchase 5 objects, for example, then we have 5,000 objects not purchased. So what SMC will do is, since all of them have these objects not purchased, then it says all transactions are similar. So in such cases, we can use JC, which will handle asymmetric attributes. So in that case, we can go for Jacquard coefficients. The next type is called as the cosine similarity. So wherein we consider vectors. So if D1 and D2 are two document vectors, we have discussed about the type of data wherein we have seen document vectors. So that is the example taken here. So document vectors, then we need to calculate the similarity, which is given by cos of d1 d2, which is equal to the vector dot product of d1 d2, that is d1 dot d2 divided by length of d1 into length of d2. So this symbol is the length of d. Dot indicates vector dot product. So in this case, let us take example. We have two vectors wherein we have the numbers given as such. D1 is 3205000200 and D2 is 100000102. How do we find the cosine similarity? So first of all, we will find d1 dot d2. This is the vector product. So multiplying the values of each bitwise the vector product and taking the summation. So that gives us the vector product d1 dot d2. When we substitute and find out, calculate, it comes to 5. The d1 mod, so length is nothing but the squares divide whole power 0.5. So that is the square root of the square. So here 3 into 3 plus 2 into 2 plus 0 into 0. Similarly till the last bit. And the square root is nothing but power 1 by 2, or 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5. So square root of 42, which is 6.481, is for d1. Similarly, square root of the vector squares, right? So 1 square plus 0 square plus 0 square and so on up to the last bit. The last digit is 2, 2 square. Summation of that whole power 0.5, or nothing but 1 by 2. So we get 6 power 0.5. So square root of 6, so which is nothing but 2.245. So these are the values. Substituting the dot product 5 and d1 and d2 in the formula for cosine, cos of d1 comma d2 we get as 0.3150. You can substitute, calculate and verify. So we get 0.3150. So this is for the given example. What do we understand? So if cos of x comma y equal to 0, then it indicates that both the points d1 and d2 are dissimilar. If cos of x comma y is 1, then it indicates that both are similar. So here it is more, so that is, it is dissimilar. So in this case, if it is nearer to 1, we can say it is similar. So d1 is different from d2 here. We have seen the Jaccard coefficient. Next, we have the extended Jaccard coefficient, a variation with respect to vectors. This is also called as Tanimoto. So this is basically used for document data where we have vectors. So when we say we have binary attributes, we have calculated the Jaccard coefficient. Now it can be reduced to the vectors. So wherein the value is found as t of p comma q is calculated by p dot q, the dot vector product, divided by mod p square plus mod q square minus p dot q. This is the length of p and q, which we just found similarly for d1 and d2. Right? So this is the formula to calculate the Tanimoto coefficient, that is the extended Jaccard coefficient. It is represented by T. So next we have the correlation based on the linear relationship between objects. So this measure can be between -1 to +1. So it is calculated by using the Pearson's correlation. That is, the formula is Pearson's correlation between x and y is given by correlation of x comma y, which is calculated as covariance of x comma y. We will see what is covariance, divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. What is this covariance of x comma y? It can be represented as S of xy. The formula is 1 by n minus 1 summation of k equal to 1 to n xk minus x bar, this is the mean of x, into yk minus y bar, this is the mean of y, average value. And the standard deviation of x, which is Sx, can be calculated as square root of This is the standard formula for standard deviation. Square root of 1 by n minus 1 summation of k equal to 1 to n xk minus x bar whole square. This is the standard deviation for the x coefficients, x coordinates. Similarly, standard deviation of y we can calculate as square root of 1 by n minus 1. This is sy. Okay, 1 by square root of 1 by n minus 1 summation of k equal to 1 to n yk minus y bar whole square. Y bar is the mean value of the y coefficient or the y coordinates. So this is how we can calculate the Pearson's correlation. So once we calculate covariance and standard deviation for x and y, we can substitute back in this formula and calculate the correlation between x and y. So this Pearson correlation between the variables x and y, if it is -1, then we say that they are negatively correlated. So something like inversely proportional. So if one increases, the other value decreases and vice versa. So if the correlation is +1, then they are positively correlated, right? So here they are proportional. If x increases, y increases. Similarly, if x decreases, y decreases. Either both increase or both decrease. So that is if the correlation value is +1. What is the general approach for these cases? So attributes may be like there are many types of attributes, but we need to calculate the overall similarity measure. So in that case, we will select the kth attribute and compute the similarity. So this is nothing but S of k. And as we know, similarity should be between 0 to 1. So here we have to calculate the similarity measure first. So we define one variable, say delta of k. So this is an indicator variable. How do we define this? This is defined for the kth attribute as given. So delta of k will be equal to 0 if the kth attribute, so that is in the binary symmetric attribute, both have the 0 value. Okay, so the x and y coordinates are both 0. The binary values, if we take p and q, both the values are zeros. So in such case, delta k will be 0. Or if one of the values are missing, then also delta k we can take as 0. In any other case, otherwise, delta k will be equal to 1. Now, once we know Sk and delta k, we can substitute to find the similarity. So substituting in the formula, we get the overall similarity for P and Q, which can be calculated as summation of k equal to 1 to n delta k into Sk divided by summation of k equal to 1 to n delta k. So for each attribute, for each of the kth attribute, we calculate this and take the summation and divide them. We get the overall similarity, that is similarity of P comma Q. How do we find this using the weights? So when we want to combine them, say along with delta and similarity measure Sk, we have the weights. So in such case, all attributes are not the same. So wherein we will have the weights also specified, which is Wk. So these are values between 0 and 1 and sum up to 1. So when we add all the weights together, it sums up to 1. So basically when we give Wk and sum up, so the value problem does not change. So Wk is just like taken as 1. But here the similarity measure overall, combining the weights, we can specify as overall similarity is similarity of P comma Q is equal to summation of k equal to 1 to n Wk into delta k into Sk, weights, delta and the similarity measure. So divided by summation of k equal to 1 to n of delta k. This is a similarity, overall similarity calculation formula. We will be applying them in the further classes. So now we know the formula for similarity, and then dissimilarity is nothing but the distance between P and Q points. We can give, it can be given as indicating the vector with the weights, right? So we have the Minkowski formula, you can remember that. So that along with the weights Wk. When we combine them, we get the distance. So overall distance between P and Q is given by square or summation of k equal to 1 to n Wk mod Pk minus Qk power r whole power 1 by r. So Minkowski distance along with the weights. So this gives us the overall dissimilarity or the distance between P and Q. So that is all for today's video. Thanks for watching.